Have you ever laid in bed, body tired, but your mind still running like a spinning wheel? The thoughts, the memories, the to-do lists, they don't stop just because the night has come. But what if, instead of fighting with your thoughts, you could sit beside them like an old friend? What if tonight we take a different path? Tonight, I invite you into the gentle world of Zen Stories. Simple, timeless, and quietly powerful. These are stories that don't shout. They don't preach. They whisper to the soul. So, let's take a deep breath together and step into stillness. Part 1. The Power of Simplicity. The Empty Cup. Let me tell you a short Zen tale. A university professor once came to visit a Zen master. He wanted to learn about Zen. As they sat down, the master began to pour tea. He poured and poured until the cup was full, and then he kept pouring. Tea spilled onto the table. The professor exclaimed, "It's overflowing. No more will go in." The master gently replied, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" Pause. I love this story because I see it in my own life, and perhaps you do too. How often do we go into the world with a full mind, full of worries, full of what we think we know, full of plans? But Zen whispers, let go, empty a little, make space for peace. So tonight, before you sleep, imagine yourself pouring out that full cup. Let go of needing to solve everything. Just for now, be empty. Part 2. Surrender to what is. Is that so? There's another tale I often return to. A young girl became pregnant, and when pressed by her angry parents, she told them the father was the local Zen master, Hakuin. The villagers were shocked. They confronted Hakuin with shame and rage. His response? Is that so? He said simply. He accepted the blame and cared for the baby. A year later, the girl confessed the truth. It wasn't Hakuin at all. The villagers came to apologize. And again, he simply said, "Is that so?" That phrase, just 3 words, holds a world of freedom. Is that so? No resistance, no defensiveness, no clinging to how things should be. Can you imagine the peace that comes from that kind of surrender? I'm not saying you should accept injustice or never speak up, but in our personal lives, in our sleepless nights, could we meet the chaos with less resistance? Could we say to life, just for tonight, "Is that so?" and rest? Part 3. The Illusion of Control. Let's wait and see. Here's a story from Chinese Zen tradition. A farmer's horse ran away. The neighbors cried, "How terrible!" He replied, "Maybe so, maybe not. Let's wait and see." The next day, the horse returned, bringing 3 wild horses. "Wonderful news," the neighbors said. "Maybe so, maybe not," the farmer replied. Later, his son tried riding one of the wild horses and broke his leg. "Oh, how unlucky," said the neighbors. "Maybe so, maybe not." Soon after, soldiers came to draft young men for war, but skipped the farmer's son due to his injury, and the story goes on. You see, what looks like a curse might be a blessing, and what looks like a blessing may carry unseen pain. Life unfolds in ways we can't control. So many sleepless nights come from overthinking, trying to predict, to fix, to know what's next. But tonight, could you allow yourself to say, "Let's wait and see"? Could you trust the unfolding, even when it doesn't make sense yet? Part 4. The Sound of One Hand Clapping. A koan to drift into sleep. Zen monks often meditate on what's called a koan, a question that can't be answered with logic. One of the most famous? What is the sound of one hand clapping? It's not meant to have an answer. It's meant to quiet the logical mind, to slip past thought and enter awareness. I've meditated on this koan many times, And each time, it brings me into a space beyond words. A space where silence is not empty, but full. So now, as your body softens into the bed, as the breath slows, I invite you to let go of trying to understand. Let this koan wash over you like a breeze through bamboo. What is the sound of one hand clapping? Maybe peace doesn't come from answers. Maybe it comes from the freedom of not needing one. Part 5. Peace in the present. The story of the two monks. Two monks were traveling when they came across a river and a woman struggling to cross. One monk, without hesitation, picked her up and carried her across. Hours later, the other monk couldn't hold it in. "We monks don't touch women," he said. "Why did you carry her?" The first monk replied, "I put her down hours ago. Are you still carrying her?" I love this story because we all carry things far longer than necessary. A harsh word from someone at work, a mistake from years ago, a regret that haunts the night. We carry so much into our beds, into our dreams, into our breath. So tonight, ask yourself gently, what am I still carrying that I could put down now? Maybe it's not forgiveness. Maybe it's not forgetting. Maybe it's just releasing the weight, one breath at a time. Part 6. Let the river flow. A final reflection. Before sleep. I remember a teaching from a monk I studied with many years ago. He told me, trying to control life is like trying to hold a river in your hands. You end up with nothing but wet palms and frustration. Let the river flow, and you can swim in peace. That image stayed with me, especially on nights when the thoughts come fast and the sleep comes slow. So tonight, I invite you to stop holding the river. Let the thoughts flow without judgment. Let the feelings rise and fall without grabbing them. Let everything be just as it is. You don't have to fix yourself before you sleep. You don't have to earn rest. Peace is not something far away. It's here, in this breath, in this story, in this letting go. Closing whisper, an invitation to stillness. You've traveled through quiet forests of Zen wisdom tonight. You've poured out the full cup. You've whispered, "Is that so?" to your mind's chaos. You've met the unknowable with, "Let's wait and see." You've touched the sound of one hand clapping, and maybe, just maybe, you've put down something heavy you were never meant to carry. Let this be enough. As you drift into sleep, may you remember, peace isn't something to chase, it's something to allow. Stillness isn't something to earn, it's already within you. So now, breathe in deeply, exhale even slower, and surrender to this moment, exactly as it is. Sleep well, my friend. The night is watching over you. If this story brought you peace, consider subscribing for more Buddhist reflections and meditations. You are never alone on this journey. We walk this path together.